Welcome to the Circuit City pregame show, brought to you by Circuit City. Circuit City, we're with you.
Once upon a time, the Braves were the team to beat, the measuring stick of the National League. Let's check out this distance. Gonzo's D-backs are just a breath away from first in the West. The Brave New World isn't as secure as it used to be. A stretch run to remember. Hi, everyone. Welcome inside the Fox Network Center. I'm Jeannie Zelasco, along with Kevin Kennedy. This is Fox Saturday Baseball. We've got your game of the week, and what a great week it has been for Eric Karros, now riding an 8-game hitting streak. Maybe more importantly, Kevin, 3-game winning hits during that span.
Yeah, they really need Eric Karros to have a strong second half. He's had back problems all season long, not able to hit the low pitch as well. They're starting to pitch around Sean Green in the National League with 32 home runs. Eric Karros sitting in that 5th spot has to respond, and he's had a good week doing it, and he needs to continue down the stretch.
From the hot bat to a cold one as we check out some highlights. Carl Everett's been very cold, so he was benched for the Red Sox game at Camden today.
Well, Hatteberg not benched behind the plate defensively. Had a lot of trouble so far this season, only thrown out 6% of the runners. Shows that one into center field. That would cost her. David Segui scored.
Oops, next batter, Tony Batista rifles one to third, but Chris Dines can't handle it. Jeff Conine can. He takes home plate. 3-zip Baltimore.
This is going to cost Josh Towers right here, trying to challenge Manny Ramirez with a fastball in. He goes deep, Jeannie, for his 36th home run of the year. 6
of his last 10 hits have been home runs, and this is where we sit and wait, because it's a rain delay at Camden in the 7th, with the Orioles out in front 4-2. Speaking of rain, 62-minute delay at Shea, and then finally the Cardinals and the Mets got to work. 2 outs. Bottom third, Todd Zeile, the RBI single. That is Mike Piazza, who scores. 2-zip Mets.
And this is Matheny right here, not known for his offense. The defensive catcher gets his 4th home run right here, opens up the ball game a little bit.
4-run fourth for the Cards, and then you know that guy, top 5.
Here's Matt going opposite field. Can't use his legs, yet so strong. Upper body strength, goes opposite field for the home run.
Each of his last 10 hits have been home runs. That was home run number 574 on his career. He has 5th place all by himself. And that would do it for us. Some of you are headed to the vet. The Phillies have their hands full with the red-hot Dodgers. Others of you get the other East-West showdown. Luis Gonzalez and his D-backs battle the Braves. Sit back, relax, enjoy your Fox Saturday Baseball. This is your game of the week.
You're watching Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week.
I'm Jeannie Zelasco at the Fox Network Center. 43 home runs and over 100 RBI. Luis Gonzalez plans to power his Diamondbacks back into the top spot in the West. Of course, the first-place Braves have different ideas. Kenny Albert and Rod Allen have all the action from Atlanta.
Thanks, Jeannie. The Major League RBI leader gets set to continue his assault on the record books in Atlanta. Fox Sports welcomes you to Turner Field in Atlanta for the second of a 3-game weekend series between the Arizona Diamondbacks and the first-place Atlanta Braves, who lead the Phillies by 1 game in the National League East. Diamondbacks just a half game out in the West. As we welcome you to Fox Saturday Baseball, I'm Kenny Albert, joined today by Diamondbacks broadcaster Rod Allen. And Rod, for the first time in National League history, 7 teams are within a game and a half of first place, including the Diamondbacks and the Braves. Arizona finally put some runs on the board last night. They've struggled in that department for the last month.
They really have. In their last 34 games, only 18 times have they scored over 3 runs. The Diamondbacks offensively, they've had Luis Gonzalez there the entire season. He's been outstanding, but they need other guys like Reggie Sanders, Steve Finley, Matt Williams to step up in the middle of that order if they're going to play some meaningful games in the month of October. From a pitching standpoint, Curt Schilling, Randy Johnson, we all know what they bring to the table every 5th day when they take the mound. But since July 25th, Miguel Batista got a win in that game. The last Diamondback starter to get a win other than Johnson and Schilling.
And Batista will be on the mound for the Diamondbacks this afternoon against the Braves' Jason Marquis. Atlanta has been to the postseason every year since 1991. Now, despite the success of the Mets last year, the emergence of the Phillies and the Marlins this season, it's the Braves in first place in August, and third baseman Chipper Jones is not conceding anything to any other team.
We try to send the message that anything less than first place in the National League East is unacceptable. And you know, we're trying to hold on as long as we can. Those guys in the rearview mirror, you know, they're pretty close and they're chomping at our heels, but we're not ready to give up the throwing quite yet.
Chipper, the NL MVP 2 years ago. Will it be Luis Gonzalez this season?
By your friends at Exxon and Mobil, who remind you to use Speed Pass, today's way to pay. By Napa Auto Parts. Napa, we keep America running. And by Stride Guard insoles. Take more impact in stride.
We are set to go from Turner Field. 22-year-old right-hander Jason Marquis on the mound for the Braves, making his 9th start. Record of 2-3, earned run average of 3.97 in 30 appearances overall this season. Marquis faced the Diamondbacks out of the bullpen back in April. And the first pitch of the game to shortstop Tony Womack is a called strike. Womack returned earlier this week from the 15-day disabled list. Batting .237 with 22 steals. 1-1.
Well, the Braves really like Marquis' stuff. This guy's fastball will get up to 97 miles per hour. He really likes a slider. Also has a curveball and a changeup, but he will not use those two pitches that often today.
Now back to the screen, 1-2. Marquis has pitched very well as of late. Struck out 13 Brewers in his last start on Friday and has allowed only 2 earned runs his last 15 innings.
That was a spot start. John Burkett came down with some flu-like symptoms, and Marquis was the guy that they inserted into the starting rotation.
Marvin Hudson, the home plate umpire in his 3rd major league season. Crew chief Tim Welke working first base. Gary Cedarstrom out at second, and Dan Iasonia is the 3rd base umpire. The 1-2 from Marquis. Womack gets a piece of it.
That's what Marquis likes to do a lot of. After he's gotten ahead of the hitters with 2 strikes, he'll elevate the fastball at 97 miles per hour. Very difficult for any hitter to get on top of it. That's the pitch you want to watch all afternoon. Diamondbacks must stay off that high fastball.
Womack sends this one into center. The catch is made by Andrew Jones. 1 away. So Womack is retired. He'll be followed in the Diamondbacks batting order by rookie second baseman Junior Spivey. Luis Gonzalez bats 3rd. Mark Grace in the cleanup spot. Matt Williams bats 5th. Then Steve Finley. Bottom of the order, former Brave Reggie Sanders, catcher Damian Miller, and the pitcher Miguel Batista. So with 1 away, Gonzalez on deck. Here's Spivey, who has done an outstanding job for the Diamondbacks since his recall. This is his 25th start. Making the start once again today in place of Jay Bell. Spivey falls behind, 0-2.
Talking to manager Bob Brenly of the Diamondbacks before the game, and he gets a sparkle in his eye when he starts to talk about Junior Spivey, what this guy has meant to the team since coming up from AAA. Getting a lot of starts as of late. Jay Bell has struggled from an offensive standpoint. And Bob Brenly going to go with the hot hand, and Spivey clearly has been the hot hand.
Spivey called out on strikes. First strikeout for Jason Marquis.
We talked about the fastball. That's his bread and butter pitch. A 4-seam fastball on the outside part of the plate. That's an unhittable pitch right there. One of the reasons why young Junior Spivey didn't even offer at it. I mean, look at the grip right there. I mean, that's the 4-seam grip right there. Right over the top. Good hard fastball by Marquis. Right into the glove.
So with 2 away, here is Luis Gonzalez. Second in the National League in batting average at .343. Second with 43 home runs, behind only Barry Bonds. He leads the majors in runs batted in. Marquis has thrown 9 pitches here in this first inning. 8 of the 9 have been strikes. 8 of 10 have been strikes.
Well, when you start talking about throwing strikes, Marquis has a chance to watch guys like John Burkett, Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine take the mound in games when he's not out there. And, you know, those guys have been very, very good throughout their careers at throwing strikes.
1-2 on Luis Gonzalez, tied for the league lead in hits. Has already set a team record with 43 home runs.
You look at Gonzalez's back foot. He gets as deep in the batter's box as he possibly can, especially against a guy like Marquis that has that power fastball.
Fouled off to the right side, so the count remains 1-2.
You know, really, this batting stance is one that Gonzalez went to in '98 while wearing a Detroit Tigers uniform. He wanted to take advantage of the short porch in right field at Tiger Stadium. Wanted to pull more balls. When you open up like that, when you've got both eyes focused on the pitcher, your hips are already out of the way. Easy to turn on the inside fastball. Like that.
Extra bases into the right field corner. Stand-up double for Luis Gonzalez, his 23rd two-base hit of the season.
Well, when you face Gonzalez, you want to face him with the bases empty. And that's what Marquis was able to do. But here's that fastball inside. And Gonzalez, by having the hips already out of the way, both eyes focused on the pitcher, you see this right here, this foot. You see the hips already out of the way, which allows him to get the hips through the hitting zone. Also, the bat head's going to get through there. That's just a picture-perfect swing right there. One of the keys right there, that front leg. See the firm front leg right there.
Ball 1 to Mark Grace. So Luis Gonzalez adding to his total in the total bases category, now 315. On pace to challenge the all-time record set by Babe Ruth back in 1921 of 457 total bases.
And he said out of all the records, the home run record, RBIs, that's the one that he would be most proud of, because if he continues to get on base and score runs, then he's a team player. He's not just trying to drive balls out of the yard.
Gonzalez well ahead of Barry Bonds, 34 behind in the total base department this season. Alex Rodriguez leads the American League.
Some impressive names on that list: Bonds and Helton, Berkman. These guys getting it done day in and day out. Guerrero, what a player he is in Montreal.
Now 2-1 on Grace. 2 outs, top of the first inning. Gonzalez takes his lead off second.
If Grace is going to get a base hit right here, he may have to go out of the strike zone with the base open, 2 outs, the right-handed Williams in the on-deck circle. He's going to have to earn a base hit here. One of the reasons why Javi Lopez went out to have a conversation with Marquis. Mark Grace last 5 years has been a clutch performer, hitting over 300 runners in scoring position. Great hand-eye coordination.
The 3-1 missing away. So after Marquis retired the first 2 Diamondbacks, Gonzalez doubled into the right field corner, and now he walks Mark Grace.
Well, we talked about it at the beginning of the game, how important it was going to be for guys like Matt Williams, Steve Finley, Reggie Sanders to step up in back of Gonzalez and Mark Grace. Mark Grace, for the most part, has driven in a lot of runs. And Matt Williams has spent a lot of time on the disabled list this year, just coming back right after the All-Star break. 9 home runs, 37 runs batted in for Matt Williams this year.
Missed 47 games earlier with the hamstring and hip problems. First and second, 2 outs. Fastball missing high, ball 1.
Matt has been a road warrior. 347 batting average on the road opposed to 213 at home. The runs up, the RBIs up, the total offensive production up for Matt Williams while they're away from Bank One Ballpark in Arizona.
Matt drove in 2 runs last night in the Diamondbacks' 7-0 victory. Popped up to the left side, will not be playable for Chipper Jones. Curt Schilling won his 17th last night, becoming the first 17-game winner in the majors this year. He tied his career high with the 17 wins. Also threw a first pitch strike to 24 of the 26 batters he faced.
Well, Curt Schilling does not beat himself. Very efficient at throwing strikes. When a runner happens to get on first base, he holds that runner well. You don't get good jumps off of him. 11 sacrifice bunts this year for Schilling. A lot of the things that go unnoticed about Curt Schilling, because all you see is the power pitcher on the mound racking up strikeouts.
Matt Williams with a drive to left over the head of Dave Martinez. Gonzalez scores. Holding at third is Grace. An RBI double for Matt Williams, his 38th run batted in of the year, as the Diamondbacks take a 1-0 lead.
Great swing by Matt Williams. He clearly took offense to Marquis walking Mark Grace to get to him. That's his third best pitch, talking about Marquis there. Martinez could not run this ball down in left field. When you get runners in scoring position, you've got the kind of fastball that Marquis has. You want to go right after the guys with the fastball. You don't want to get beat with your third best pitch in that situation.
And now Marquis will intentionally walk Steve Finley to load the bases, and he will pitch to the ex-Brave Reggie Sanders.
That's the right move here by Bobby Cox. Just like it was the right move walking Mark Grace to get to Matt Williams. But Matty stepped up.
So with the bases loaded, Reggie Sanders steps in with 23 home runs. 12 more than he hit for the Braves all of last season. Sanders has one of the Diamondbacks' league-leading 7 Grand Slams this year.
Yes, Kenny, the Braves are quietly saying to themselves, where was this offense last season, Mr. Sanders?
He hit only .232 for the Braves. 11 home runs, 37 RBIs. Fastball was in for a called strike, 0-1.
Prior to last season, Reggie Sanders, along with Kilvio Veras, came over to this Braves team from San Diego. Ryan Klesko, Brett Boone went to California. Kilvio Veras put on waivers just a week ago or so and has cleared waivers. Those two are no longer with the team. Of course, Sanders wearing a Diamondback uniform, and Kilvio Veras not with this Braves team either.
Nothing and 2 on Sanders. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Top of the first inning from Turner Field. Grace the runner on third. Matt Williams takes his lead off second. Finley, who was intentionally walked, is the runner on first. Sanders behind on the count, 0-2. Right back to the box. Marquis to Caminiti. So Marquis gets out of the inning. He threw 29 pitches. The Diamondbacks strand 3. Diamondbacks with a run on 2 doubles and 2 walks in the top of the first inning. Miguel Batista, 30-year-old right-hander, in his 7th Major League season on the mound for the Diamondbacks. The men he will face, second baseman Marcus Giles, the rookie leading off, followed by left fielder Dave Martinez. Chipper Jones, 347 lifetime average against Arizona, will bat third. Ryan Jordan in the cleanup spot, then Ken Caminiti. Andrew Jones hit 6th. And the bottom third, Bobby Lopez, Mark DeRosa, and pitcher Jason Marquis.
Yeah, Miguel Batista comes in with a 6-7 record, but he's pitched much better than that. The earned run average at .360. 12 starts. He's pitched a number of games out of the bullpen. The 44 base on balls has been a little troublesome for him this year in the 95 innings pitched because he's only given up 78 hits. But, you know, Bob Brenly, Bob Welch, the pitching coach, They can't say enough nice things about what Batista has meant to the Diamondbacks pitching staff this year.
Like Jason Marquis, Batista has spent some time in the bullpen this year, but missed his 9th start in his last 12 appearances. Batista started a game back in April against the Braves in Phoenix. Did not figure in the decision, lasted only 4 innings. Facing rookie second baseman Marcus Giles, who swings at the first pitch and grounds out to the shortstop Tony Womack, 1 away.
It's a nice athletic play by Womack. Tremendous range at shortstop. The ball gets past Williams. The backhand, he sets the feet. He knows he has time. Giles does not have a lot of feet, a lot of foot speed, and a firm throw back across the diamond to Mark Grace. It's a nice play.
Dave Martinez batting .307. Martinez in his 16th major league season has never been to the playoffs. May finally get there this October.
He picked the right team, that's for sure.
We played for four teams last year, tying a major league record. But may finally reach October.
Well, let me go sign with the Braves so I can get to the postseason.
Well, they have been there every year since '91, except '94 when there was no postseason.
Well, it's been the model organization. Look at the banners. Pennants. Year in, year out. They just retool and get it done.
Now 1-2 on Martinez, who was 0 for 4 last night, batting .319 against right-handed pitchers, .307 overall.
The 6th major league team that Batista has performed for. Bob Welch, the pitching coach, has done an exceptional job with Batista, getting him to throw a 2-seam fastball, an occasional curveball. Very seldom will you throw that 4-seam fastball that he's thrown throughout his career. Control is still a little bit of a problem for Batista, but when he's throwing strikes and mixing his pitches up, this guy's a pretty solid performer out there. You'll see him on a number of occasions today make the hitter move his feet with an inside fastball.
Batista making his 2nd straight start on Fox Saturday Baseball, started against the Mets last Saturday afternoon, a 4-2 loss. Allowed 3 runs in 5 innings. He's allowed 3 or fewer runs in each of his last 4 starts. He's pitched well as of late. The 2-2 to Martinez fouled back. He mentioned pitching for his 6th organization. Started with Pittsburgh, then went out to Florida, the Cubs, the Expos, where he won a career-high 8 games 2 years ago. And then Batista split last season between the Expos and the Royals.
Well, he pitched very well in winter ball this season. Talking to Joe Garagiola Jr., Vice President and General Manager of the Diamondbacks. And he was talking about Batista. Brian Lamb, one of their scouts, he sent them down there to find a good starter, you know, just in case Todd Stottlemyre wasn't able to go this year with the injuries that he's had in the past. And Batista was a guy that he called back after 2 weeks and said, I think I found someone that can help us out in the rotation or in the bullpen, and that guy is Miguel Batista. And he said, one thing you're going to have to do, talking about Brian Lamb, talking to Joe Garagiola Jr., the general manager, you're going to have to give this guy a major league contract, because if you try to put him on the AAA roster, someone else is going to get him. You're going to lose him if you try to get this guy through waivers.
Martinez, ground ball to the right side, backhanded by Spivey, but the throw pulls Grace off the bag. An infield hit for Dave Martinez.
Well, Spivey playing very, very deep here, which allows him to get over and cut the ball off the bat of Martinez. But Martinez, left-handed batter, momentum already carrying him down the line after being fooled on the pitch. And when your body momentum carrying you that far in the center field, you can't get enough on the throw to get a guy that can run like Martinez.
So a one-out single for Martinez. Chipper Jones, switch hitter, batting from the left side. Chipper on fire against the Diamondbacks this year, 9 for 18, including a career-high 5-hit game at Bank One Ballpark back in April.
Well, just like the Diamondbacks have Luis Gonzalez, and anytime he comes to the plate, as we get a look at the Brave leader here, no one other than Chipper Jones. Leads in home runs, runs batted in, slugging percentage, runs scored. The Diamondbacks come to the plate with no one on base. Therefore, you can pitch around him. And Bautista may even be pitching around him here with a runner on first and 1 out. Count now 2-0.
Chipper 4 for 10 lifetime against Bautista. Makes it 5 for 11. Martinez holds at second. Braves threatening here at the bottom of the first inning. Runners on first and second, only 1 out. 11-game hitting streak for Chipper Jones.
On a 2-0 count, you've got to make a better pitch than this pitch to Chipper Jones. It appears to be something off speed, or he took something off the fastball, but the bat of Chipper Jones is just so quick, and he rifles this ball into right center field. I mean, great contact, great concentration there by Jones.
Here's Brian Jordan, who homered off Bautista back in April. One of his 17 home runs on the year.
I don't know about that last pitch. You've got 1 out. You've got a guy that not quite 100% as far as running. Talking about Brian Jordan, you throw a elevated fastball. You would think that Bautista would be thinking about getting something down in the strike zone to possibly get the ground ball to get him out of the inning.
First and second, 1 out. The 1-0 to Jordan, missing low and away. Now 2-0. Brian Jordan on fire as of late, 7 for his last 16. Batting .444 in August, right after a .316 month of July.
Give some of that credit to Ken Caminiti batting behind him. You know, when you've got someone hitting behind you, someone that's going to protect you, because by and large, Jordan's been the guy protecting Chipper Jones. Now he's getting some very good pitches to hit.
Bautista now behind on the count, 3-0 with Ken Caminiti waiting on deck.
Well, watch out here. 3-0 count. Jordan, dead fastball hitter. Bautista, he's going to have to go with his best pitch here, and if it's the fastball, he needs to locate it in an area where Jordan's not looking.
3-1. Martinez, the runner on second. Chipper Jones takes his lead off first. The 3-1 from Bautista. In the air, deep center field. Finley back on the warning track. He makes the catch.
Brian Jordan gets the pitch that he's looking for on a 3-0, 3-1 count, excuse me. Fastball right down the middle. He jumps all over it, but Steve Finley in center field gets great jumps out there, and he's able to run this ball down. Last couple of years, Finley has won the Gold Glove in the National League. Tremendous defender.
So with 2 away, here's Caminiti. Released by Texas in early July. Picked up 3 days later by the Braves. Batting .286. That is 4 for 5 lifetime against Bautista.
Playing first base for the very first time in his career. It's been quite an adjustment for Caminiti. I mean, when you think about it, Kenny, a guy that's played on the left side of the infield his entire career, a Gold Glove third baseman in the past, MVP back in '96 in the Padres, to take a small glove and to now put that big glove on, I mean, that's quite a transition.
Braves had been going with the platoon of Rico Brogna and Wes Helms. Brogna retired last month. Caminiti making his 23rd start at first base today.
Everything he does at first base is quite different than anything he's ever done at third base. The 5-4-3 double play from third opposed to the 3-6-3 double play on the other side of the infield.
Now 2-2 on Caminiti.
We've got a hold runners on with a power-hitting left-handed hitter at the plate. But he should make a nice adjustment over there. One thing that's different about third base versus first base is just knock the ball down. On a ground ball, you know the pitcher's going to be there for you.
Caminiti reunited here in Atlanta with hitting coach Merv Rettenman, who was with him in San Diego when he was the National League MVP just 5 years ago.
And that's one of the reasons why he decided to come to Atlanta. There's Merv. He's an outstanding hitting coach. I mean, very good. Keeps it simple.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners on first and second. Caminiti goes down on strikes. First strikeout for Batista. So after the Diamondbacks stranded 3, the Braves strand 2. You're watching Fox Sports, the exclusive home of postseason baseball, including the World Series. We'll return after this local break. Pitching coach Bob Welch chatting with Miguel Batista in the Diamondbacks dugout.
Well, Bob Welch is the guy that is mainly responsible for the season that Batista's had. I mean, he's the guy that got him to throwing his breaking ball once again. Even though you've got a 95-mile-per-hour fastball and you can't get it over the plate, you can't locate it where you want to, and you're always falling behind hitters. Major league hitters are going to jump all over you. But what Bob Welch has done for Batista, he's given him confidence in the 2-seam fastball that runs in on the left-handers or outside on the right-handers. Bob Welch has done a nice job with the Diamondback pitching staff. First year as a pitching coach, by the way.
Miller base hit down the left field line. Extra bases for Damian Miller. The 3rd Diamondbacks hit, their 3rd double. As we check in with Jeannie Zalasko, a Speed Pass game break brought to you by ExxonMobil.
Kenny, what team has the highest batting average in the National League? The Phillies, and Travis Lee is padding the stats. The bases were loaded when he hit that one out. 16th home run of the season with 2 outs. Top 2 off Eric Gagne. It's 4-zip Phillies.
So, Jeannie, the former Diamondback, one of the players acquired by the Phillies in the Curt Schilling deal, with the first inning grand slam, helping out the Diamondbacks. Marquis goes to third. Safe. Miller slid under the tag. Marquis looked to get the lead runner on the Batista bunt. So the Diamondbacks have first and third with nobody out.
Well, Miller gets a great break from second. As soon as this ball goes down on the ground, you've got to give Marquis some credit. He didn't hesitate. He got off the mound. He thought he could get Damian at third, but Damian able to get in safely. What Marquis should have done is look to third to see where Miller was, because he still had plenty of time to throw back to first. You look right there, then you turn around and you get the guy at first base. But you've got to get one out there.
So a sacrifice credited to Batista. Miller moves to third on the fielder's choice as Tony Womack takes a called strike. Womack fly to center. His first time up. We mentioned in the open, Diamondbacks have had trouble scoring runs. They've scored 3 or fewer runs in 18 of their last 34. They did score a run in the first inning, but they also left 3 men on. Here, Rob, they have 2 on, nobody out, and the top of the order.
And this is a situation the Diamondbacks have had trouble in the last 6 weeks or so when they saw their lead in the National League West go from 6.5 all the way to second place. You get a guy on third base, nobody out. You've got to get that guy in.
As we continue to check the scoreboard, Giants leading the Cubs 6-0. So the Dodgers trail 4-0. And the Giants lead 6-0.
How about that Giants team playing with a tremendous amount of confidence since getting Andres Galarraga from the Texas Rangers. Some other additions they made right at the trade deadline.
They have Miller caught. Tagged out by Lopez. Batista moves to second.
Well, Bob Brenly clearly not happy right now. When you put the squeeze on and you've got a guy that can handle the bat, he's got to get the job done. He's got to at least foul that ball off. That fastball tailing away from Womack, but still close enough for you to put the ball in play. Miller doesn't take off too soon. Did a nice job by Javi Lopez running down Damian Miller.
So on the attempted squeeze, Miller tagged out by Lopez. And the count is now full. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Tony Womack with 1 out, and Batista on at second. Womack gets the bat on it, but the catch is made by Andrew Jones, moving to his right for the second out of the inning. Well, Rod, we told you about the Giants' 6-0 lead over the Cubs. Barry Bonds, a 3-run homer, number 50, his career high. First time Bonds has reached 50 home runs in his major league career. He is on pace for 69.
Chasing Mark McGwire, 70 home runs set back in 1998. I've seen Barry a lot of games this year. 37 years old, hitting the ball harder and further than I've ever seen him hit the ball. Barry Bonds, first team Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no question about that.
Barry Bonds said his godfather, Willie Mays, told him once, try to hit 50 just once in your career. He had never done it until a couple of minutes ago.
What a career he's had. All-star every single year. 1 Gold Glove, 3 MVPs. He's a special player.
He hit 49 home runs last year. Junior Spivey line drive right into the glove of Chipper Jones. So the Diamondbacks had first and third with no outs, but could not score. And for the next 6 seasons, Fox Sports will be the exclusive network carrier of baseball's postseason. 8 of baseball's best battle it out in the division series, the ALCS, the NLCS, and finally the World Series. Fox Sports, your exclusive network carrier of baseball's postseason, coming this fall. And Rod, we mentioned in the open, 7 National League clubs, all within a game and a half of first place. First time that's happened, aside from the first week in April, of course, when everybody starts out equal. Great races in every division except the American League West, although the Oakland A's have come on over the last month and a half, and they have the lead in the American League wild card race.
How about the Oakland A's? I mean, that team, they were in trouble early, but they've got 3 solid pitchers at the top of their rotation that get it done night in, night out.
Andrew Jones grounds out to Matt Williams, 1 away in the Braves' second. Braves by a game over the Phillies. Cubs, who trail 6-0. Lead the Astros by a game and a half. 3 teams out west, Rod, within 1 game of each other.
Well, at the beginning of the season, a lot of people out there felt like the National League West was going to be one of the better divisions in baseball, and that is true with the Dodgers and Arizona and San Francisco. Just 1 game separating all 3 teams. And they play each other a bunch down the stretch.
Many people heading into the season felt the Colorado Rockies would be there as well, with the free agent signings of Mike Hampton and Denny Nagel to perhaps match Curt Schilling and Randy Johnson. But the Rockies have struggled. 1-1 on Lopez. Talking about the NL West, Diamondbacks have been terrific against their division. 31-19 against the West, and they have 26 games remaining against their own division.
That's going to be very, very important for them as we get a look at Randy Johnson, one of the guys largely responsible for a lot of those wins.
Javi Lopez on a one-out single to left. We told you about Barry Bonds' 50th home run. Now we'll show it to you. Jeannie?
Kenny, we have the proof. 2 men on. Barry Bonds, there he is with a bat. And as expected, this is home run number 50, a career high. First John in 36 years to accomplish the feat. It is 6 zip San Fran bottom 2.
Thanks, Jeannie. That Speed Pass game break brought to you by ExxonMobil. Bonds on pace for 69. Luis Gonzalez on pace for 61. Mark DeRosa first pitch. Fly ball right center. Finley makes the play for out number 2. You're around Luis Gonzalez day in, day out as one of the Diamondbacks broadcasters. I don't know if you'll find a nicer guy in all of sports.
I don't think there is one. I mean, all you have to do is ask Luis, and he's there for you. And not just the Diamondbacks broadcasters or the Diamondbacks media in Arizona, but here in Atlanta, down in Florida. You know, Gonzalez is the guy that realizes just how important the media is to his career. You know, one of the comments he made is that, you know, he needs the media because, I mean, that's the way that he's able to interact with the fans.
Jason Marquis at the plate, 1 for 14 this year. Line foul to the left side.
You know, you talk about a guy that before the 98 season, that was basically a gap-to-gap hitter. But that season, he wanted more. Got in the weight room, personal trainer. You know, this guy's done so many things to make himself better. And look at what he's done in the Arizona uniform opposed to the 9 years before arriving. The batting average is up. But look at the home runs here. 107 home runs in 9 years. 100 with the Arizona in just 3 seasons. That's amazing.
One of the all-time steals. Gonzalez for Karim Garcia. Marquis goes down on strikes. Second strikeout for Batista. You're watching Fox Sports, the exclusive home of postseason baseball. We'll return to Atlanta after this break from your local Fox station. Back in Atlanta, I asked Luis Gonzalez yesterday how his life has changed off the field this year.
I always thought baseball was kind of the easy sport because you're not 6'10" like a basketball player, or you weigh 250, 260 like a football player, so you could always mix in with the crowd. But ever since the home run stuff and then winning the home run derby and things like that, my whole lifestyle and my life has changed as far as getting noticed everywhere you go.
And he does get noticed everywhere the Diamondbacks go, and everyone wants his autograph. Everyone wants his time. And for the most part, he gives it to him.
Gonzalez now 1 for 2. As he flew out to Andrew Jones in center. Here's Mark Grace, who walked back in the first inning. Grace already with 1 more home run than he hit all of last season with the Cubs. Had an 18-game hitting streak earlier this year. Sent this one into left center. Martinez for the second out.
Well, if you're a pitcher on the Braves staff and you've got a guy in center field like Andrew Jones, all you want to do is make the power hitters hit the ball to the deep part of the ballpark, which is center field, and he will run it down. He has fun playing defense.
He's the only player in the major leagues that has played in every inning of every game this season. Andrew Jones. Matt Williams takes ball 1 from Marquis. Williams drove in the game's only run back in the first inning with a 2-out double, scoring Luis Gonzalez.
You know, I was talking to Bobby Cox about that before the game. He planned on giving him a rest, but when you've got a gold glove defender out in the outfield like Andrew Jones. I mean, you lose something, because if he's not doing it from an offensive standpoint by driving in runs, he is taking away runs by the balls that he can run down in the gaps out there. And occasionally he'll climb over that wall and bring a home run back. He's a human highlight film out there.
And that's one of the things Bob Brenly talked about when he took over the Diamondbacks prior to the season, giving his veterans, his star players, more days off than they had in the past.
And he has done that. But you're only able to do that if you've got a strong bench. And Bob Brenly, Bobby Cox, they both have strong benches. On Bob's bench, he's got guys like Eurubio Durazo and David DeLucci, Craig Counsell. What a season Craig Counsell has had. You know, other than the obvious of Gonzalez and Schilling and Johnson, Craig Counsell's been their most valuable player.
Counsell, the only Diamondback with a World Series ring.
Yes.
One of the heroes back in '97 with the Florida Marlins.
Scored the winning run.
2-2 the count, 2 outs. Matt Williams at the plate. Top of the 3rd inning. Diamondbacks leading the Braves 1-0. They won yesterday's game 7-0 behind Curt Schilling. Kevin Millwood took the loss. There's Schilling.
Brian Anderson on the right there. Can't get a word in down there with those two. Brian Anderson, Curt Schilling. Don't even try it.
A 2-out walk issued by Marquis as Williams heads down to first.
Curt Schilling will always find someone to talk to. A lot of people with the Diamondbacks team, a team that have traveled with the team the last couple of years, they'll tell you that by Curt Schilling coming over to the Diamondbacks last season, Randy Johnson is much more outgoing now. They'll see him talking to a lot of different people, whereas in the past, Randy, you know, didn't conversate that much to the guys on the bench for whatever reason.
They spent a lot of time together.
They golf a lot together on the road.
Loser must buy the winner a golf shirt from the pro shop whenever they play. Finley pops it up out of play to the right side. Johnson and Schilling ranked 1st and 2nd in the National League in the strikeout department. The last teammates to finish 1-2. The Mets' David Cone and Dwight Gooden back in 1990.
It's great to have a couple of guys on your staff like these two, because for the most part, when they toe the rubber every 5th day, your bullpen's going to get a rest. They finish just about everything they start.
And after losses this year, the combination of Schilling and Johnson, 18-3 following a Diamondbacks loss. Talk about streak busters. 18-3. Which means you'll never really have any long losing streaks as long as Johnson and Schilling keep on doing what they've been doing.
Yeah, but they're going to have to get some of the other guys in the rotation to somehow get some W's under their belt as well.
You look at what the Diamondbacks have done at home this year. Johnson and Schilling 16-7. The others 7 under the 500 mark. In fact, the Diamondbacks have a better record on the road this year than at home. Well hit right field. A diving catch by Brian Jordan, robbing Steve Finley of a base hit. So Matt Williams stranded. Middle of the 3rd from Turner Field. Diamondbacks with a 1-0 lead.
Fox Saturday Baseball is brought to you by your neighborhood 7-Eleven store. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven.
Kenny Albert, Rod Allen back in Atlanta, top of the order for the Braves here in the third. They trail the Diamondbacks 1-0. Marcus Giles leading off, takes a called strike on the outside corner. Marcus, the brother of the Pirates all-star Brian Giles, has earned the starting job at second base. You mentioned earlier Kilvio Veras released last week. Giles now 0 for 2 as he grounds out to Matt Williams.
Brian a lot thicker than Marcus. Brian must have been taking all the food away from young Marcus as they were growing up.
Marcus only 5'8", while Brian was a football player in high school.
Brian not much taller, but very, very thick. But when you watch him play in the outfield, talking about Brian Giles of the Pittsburgh Pirates, he can go get some balls out there.
One away, here's Dave Martinez, reached on an infield hit back in the first inning.
Batista doing a nice job of getting ahead of these Braves hitters through the first couple of innings, which is very important for him. Allows him to expand the strike zone, pitch to their weaknesses.
Martinez falls behind 0-2. Chipper Jones waiting on deck.
You know, this is where Batista has had some problems after getting ahead of the hitters. No balls, 2 strikes. Not able to put them away. Next thing you know, the count will be 2-2 and then 3-2 before he's able to record an out, or on many occasions the hitter able to get a base hit.
Batista getting ready for the 0-2. Check swing. Strike 3. 2 away. So Chipper Jones stepping up to the plate. He's won a World Series and an MVP. I asked him yesterday what's left in baseball that he has not yet accomplished.
To be honest with you, from here on out, I'd like to pass on hopefully my talent and my love for the game to my kids. That's the biggest thing for me, just to see them and go out there and maybe try and follow in the footsteps and teach them everything that my father taught me and allow them to live out their dream one of these days. That's my goal from here on out.
Man, that's a great goal. Anytime you spend a lot of time with your kids and you want them to do exactly what you've done, especially if you've been successful. You know, I know I have that same goal for my kids. A couple of sons, Rod Jr. and Andrew, both love baseball. How about the grip on this split-fingered fastball? I mean, the bottom just falls straight out of it. It's an unhittable pitch right there by Batista. I mean, you look at everything that he's throwing up there. I mean, just tremendous movement. Guys that have probably seen Batista in the past, they're seeing a totally different pitcher out there with the moving fastball, the split finger, the softer curve, the harder curveball. He's turned into a pitcher now and not just a thrower.
Chipper with a high fly ball, shallow right. The catch is made by the right fielder, Reggie Sanders. A 9-pitch inning for Miguel Batista. He was named National League Pitcher of the Month for both June and July. Who was the last National League pitcher to win back-to-back Pitcher of the Month awards? Reggie Sanders flies out to Andrew Jones. 1 pitch, 1 away. Here are the Diamondbacks fourth. So once again, before Greg Maddux, our RadioShack.com trivia question: who was the last pitcher to receive consecutive NL Pitcher of the Month honors? Give you a couple of minutes to think about it.
You know the answer, don't you?
I have a feeling you do too. In fact, why do I think the answer to our question may be in this ballpark. Always seems to work out that way.
Yeah. That surprising.
How does that happen?
I don't know how that happened.
Damian Miller double to left back in the second inning. Miller has been one of the hottest Diamondbacks since the All-Star break, batting .338, hitting .432 over his last 13 games. Played through a bout of the flu last night, went 1 for 3.
He's also playing injured. A little small tear in the left Achilles. But so many guys on the field are less than 100%.
Drives this one to right center. Jones on the run, makes it look easy on the warning track, 2 away.
He is fun to watch. I would pay the price of admission just to come and watch him play defense. He doesn't even have to go to bat. First steps are so key when you're going to get the balls in the outfield, and his first step is so quick, and he gets there and just toys with it. A la Willie Mays style.
Marquis has settled down. He's retired 7 of the last 8 Diamondbacks, second time through the order. Batista, not exactly Mike Hampton at the plate. He has 1 hit this year. Lifetime, he is 8 for 99.
What does Hampton have? 7
home runs. Tying a National League record.
Well, if he continues to go out there and toe the rubber every 5th day, he's going to break that before it's all said and done.
He has 7 home runs and 12 wins. We told him before the season that in August, the differential between his home runs and wins would be 5. What do you think Mike would have said?
He would have told you you're crazy.
Either that or he would have only had 5 wins at this point.
And a lot of people thought he was crazy when he signed the long-term contract to go pitch in Coors Field in Denver.
Nice play by Giles, robbing Batista of his 9th career base hit in 7 years.
Not fair.
So a 1-2-3 4th inning for Jason Marquis. Diamondbacks continue to lead the Braves 1-0.
Official sponsor of Major League Baseball.
Welcome back. 1-0 Diamondbacks. Time now for the answer to our RadioShack.com trivia question. Log on to RadioShack.com, play baseball trivia, enter to win a trip to the 2002 All-Star Game in Milwaukee. Radio Shack, the official sponsor of Major League Baseball. The last pitcher to win National League Pitcher of the Month awards back-to-back. We said he might be in this ballpark. August and September of '98. Fellow by the name of Randy Johnson.
I had a feeling it was the big unit.
He went 11-1 combined during those 2 months. Ryan Jordan fouls back the first pitch from Miguel Batista, who has retired 8 of the last 9 Braves he has faced.
Did you ever hear how Randy Johnson got his nickname, the big unit?
I don't think I have.
That kid brought his glove to the ballpark, and it paid off. Lots of high fives in that section. Randy Johnson, while playing for the Montreal Expos, was walking out of the batting cage. Tim Raines was walking into the batting cage. Tim Raines, of course, stands about 5'10", Randy 6'11". And he bumped right into him, and he looked up at him and said, "Man, you're a big unit." And the name is stuck.
So credit Tim Raines.
Yeah.
The 1-1 popped up, out of play. 1-2 on Jordan.
.43 pitches total for Batista. He's only thrown 13 balls.
Do you remember ever facing a pitcher maybe not 6'10", but let's say 6'7", 6'8" during your career? And how intimidating was it?
I'm trying to think of who I faced that was that tall. But not nearly as intimidating as Randy Johnson. That is for sure. I faced guys like Doc Gooden. Fernando Valenzuela wasn't tall, but I mean, he's the best left-handed pitcher that I ever faced.
How'd you do?
Well, I think he threw me that screwball, and then he dropped a curveball in on me on the inside part of the plate. Then I think I went and sat down.
Good idea. Jordan leads off the fourth with a single to right.
Jeff Juden was very, very tall. He's about, what, 6'6", 6'7", but I never faced him.
So a leadoff single for Jordan. Here's Ken Caminiti, who struck out, stranding 2 men, ending the first inning. 1 run, 3 hits for the Diamondbacks. No runs, 4 hits for the Braves as Batista throws over to first.
That's a good combination right here if you're Batista. If you can get Caminiti into hitting the ball on the ground. Jordan not running very well, and Caminiti last couple of years been bothered by several leg injuries.
Jordan also missed 6 games recently with ankle and knee problems. Hard to believe Caminiti in 27 games with the Braves has not grounded into a double play in 85 at-bats. Jordan takes his lead off first. Caminiti slices one foul over the third base dugout, 1-1.
Jordan only has 3 steals this year, so you don't expect him to be running,
especially with the injuries.
So Bobby Cox gets some other guys on base. Giles, Martinez, top of the lineup. Andrew Jones. They'll run. Batista not very quick at getting the ball to home plate.
Rafael Furcal, who leads the Braves with 22 steals, is out for the year with a shoulder injury.
Head first slide. A lot of managers are trying to discourage their base stealers, the fast guys, from that head first slide. A lot of guys are separating their shoulders.
Now 2-1 to Caminiti. Andrew Jones waiting on deck. Brian Jordan, the runner, on first. Braves have not scored a run in this series now in 12 innings. Shut out last night 7-0. Blanked so far this afternoon. They had 6 hits in the game last night off Curt Schilling. Call strike on the inside corner. Caminiti not happy with the call from Marvin Hudson. Now 2-2. Batista missing low and away, so the count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. No outs, bottom of the 4th inning. Andrew Jones on deck. Brian Jordan, the runner, on first. Jordan goes, and Caminiti fouls the pitch back to the screen. Third base coach Ned Yost. Red Sox beaten by the Orioles at Camden Yards 4-2, so they now trail Oakland by a game and a half. A three-way tie with the Indians and the Twins. Jordan goes. And the Braves stay out of the double play as Caminiti grounds out to Spivey. Jordan moves to second.
A wise decision by Bobby Cox to send Jordan on the 3-2 pitch. Had he not been going, that would have been a tailor-made double play. Also showing a lot of confidence in Caminiti to put the ball in play. And Jordan takes off, not trying to steal this base. All they wanted to do was stay out of the double play, and they were able to accomplish that.
So a runner in scoring position with one out. Andrew Jones grounded to third, his first time up. Takes ball one.
Talking to Merv Rettenman about Andrew Jones, and he says when he starts to jump out there as a pitcher, bat really lags behind, does not generate the kind of bat speed that he normally would generate. But when he's patient, when he's quiet with the feet, quiet with the hands, he can do some serious damage when balls are thrown in the strike zone. Appears to be patient at this at-bat. A couple of pitches down in the strike zone that normally Andrew would swing at, but looks like he's going to force Batista into throwing him a little bit better pitch in this at-bat. Yeah, 2-0. Andrews zeroed in on the fastball. Batista pulling the string on him in a huge swing by Jones. That's something Batista has done a lot more as of late in fastball counts. You're not necessarily going to get the fastball.
Jones gets the bat on it and flies out to Finley in center. Now 2 away for Javi Lopez.
That's just good pitching right there. After getting the 2-0 breaking ball, you put that thought in the hitter's mind. 2-1. He's thinking, well, is he going to throw me something off speed, or am I going to get the fastball? And then when you get the fastball, you don't have that aggressive swing that you normally would on a 2-1 pitch.
Batista chatting with his battery mate, Damian Miller. Runner on second, 2 outs, bottom of the 4th inning. Javi Lopez singled back in the second. Batting only .226 this year with runners in scoring position.
Well, you don't want to throw him a breaking ball over the plate. Javi Lopez appears to look for breaking balls early in the count with runners in scoring position.
Jordan led off the inning with a single to right. Moved to second on a Caminiti ground out. Andrew Jones flying to center. The 1-0 to Lopez. 1-1.
That gives you a pretty good idea right there. A guy not looking for a fastball. A 1-0 count, a count where you would look for the fastball, and Javi not able to pull the string on a ball right down the middle. Likes to hit the breaking ball. I mean, this is a fastball that if you're looking fastball, you're going to get all over it. It's almost like caught him by surprise.
1-2. He went fishing for that one.
That's a nasty slider. A wicked slider. Look at this ball. I mean, it starts on the outside corner and just ends up outside. I mean, that's a nice pitch by Batista.
Batista checks the runner on second. The 1-2. Fly ball deep left center. Finley back on the warning track, makes the catch.
He almost got bit by that breaking ball. That's what Javi was looking for.
And Finley ran it down on the warning track to end the inning. So Jordan is stranded following his leadoff single. We move to the 5th. Diamondbacks still lead the Braves 1-0. Diamondbacks leading 1-0. They scored their run in the 1st off Jason Marquis. A pair of doubles, a pair of walks. Marquis facing Tony Womack leading off here in the 5th. Womack has flat out to center field twice.
Or if you're Womack, you may think about trying to bunt something to the right side, push it past the pitcher toward the second baseman, with Caminetti playing at first base for the first time.
Instead, he fouls it off to the left side, 1-1.
You know, Womack has the kind of speed where it would be very, very tough for Marquis to beat him to the bag. And also Caminetti playing an unfamiliar position at first.
A 1-1 for Marquis. Off-speed pitch misses high and away. 2 balls, 1 strike. Top of the order, Womack, Spivey, Gonzalez for the Diamondbacks here in the 5th against 22-year-old right-hander Jason Marquis. In the air to center field for a 3rd time. The catch is made by the shortstop, DeRosa. 1 away. Right, it's time now to take a look at the fan of the game with the A&W fan cam. Well, we searched the stands. 4-hour fan of the game. I think it's that guy.
You think that's him?
That's my vote.
How about those ladies? Eh? Staying out of the sun.
On a late Saturday afternoon here in Atlanta. Braves last night went over the 2 million mark in attendance for the 10th consecutive season. The 0-1 to Spivey, fouled back, 0-2. Junior Spivey 0 for 2, called out on strikes in the first, lined out to Chipper Jones in the second. He's reached base in 23 of his 24 starts with the Diamondbacks. Brought some enthusiasm, some energy. Injury plagued in the minors each of the last 2 years. Check swing foul.
Spivey's always been a very athletic player since coming into the Diamondback system back in 1996, but he was very rough around the edges. The people in the organization are extremely proud of the kind of player that Junior Spivey has made himself into. Of course, along with a lot of the help from their minor league instructors.
Waiting on deck, Luis Gonzalez and his 43 home runs. Now 7 behind the Giants' Barry Bonds, who hit number 50 earlier today at Wrigley Field. He sat out yesterday's game, a day game after a night game in Cincinnati. Giants traveled. Bonds did not play yesterday, but came through today in his first at bat. His first ever 50 home run year.
That's something Dusty Baker will do for his slugger. Every day game after a night game, for the most part, he will not play Barry. He'll tell him to come to the ballpark very late. Barry won't take batting practice. You know, when you get up there in age, 37, 38 years old, you need a break. You need a breather.
He hit the 500 home run mark earlier this season. Ken Griffey on Thursday night, same game in which Bonds hit his 49th. Griffey became the youngest player ever to reach 450 home runs, surpassing Jimmy Fox by 2 weeks. Check swing, ball 2, says the crew chief, first base umpire Tim Welke.
There's some great players out there. Chipper Jones on the Braves, Luis Gonzalez, a couple in this game. Great pitchers in Schilling and Johnson, Maddox, Glavine, Schmaltz in the bullpen for this Braves staff. Bonds and Griffey. I mean, the list and the names, you can just go on and on and on.
Bounce to the left side. Spivey has speed. Beats the throw from DeRosa. An infield hit for Junior Spivey, who has now reached base in 24 of his 25 starts.
Nice job by DeRosa getting over this ball. He knows he has to hurry. Doesn't set the feet, just throws as soon as he gets the ball into the glove. And that's a situation right there where Caminetti, not having played first base that long, didn't cheat enough. I mean, you can cheat a little bit here. As soon as Spivey approaches first, you just come off the bag and go toward the shortstop position. Every now and then you'll get that call from the first base umpire.
So a 1-out single. Gonzalez passes one the other way into left field. Second hit of the game for Luis Gonzalez, his league-leading 152nd hit of the season. And the Diamondbacks, after Marquis retired 9 of 10 with back-to-back singles, they have first and second with only one out.
Gonzalez has got that classic swing. That last base hit the left field, that's how he takes batting practice every single day. First 7 or 8 swings will be just like that, through the hole between third and shortstop. I mean, that's almost like a batting practice swing for Gonzalez. Very compact, under control.
The back-to-back singles, the first singles of the game for Arizona. Their other 3 hits were doubles. Gonzalez, Williams, and Miller. First and second, one out. Brace bounces one foul to the right side. Brace walked in the first inning, fly to left in the third. Nothing Giants over the Cubs. You saw the Dodgers battling back, now trail the Phillies 5-3. Cardinals beat the Mets 6-3. Mark McGwire, number 20. Orioles over the Red Sox. Bounce foul to the right side, 1-2. Now 2-2 to Grace. Matt Williams waiting on deck. Spivey the runner on second. Gonzalez over at first.
You know, a lot of times a 2-2 count with one out. A lot of managers like to start the runners. You've got a contact guy at the plate like Grace. You're not afraid to do that. Or Bob Brenly may wait to the 3-2 pitch.
Swing and a miss. He got him. Second strikeout for Marquis. Now 2 outs.
Well, very seldom will you see Mark Grace climb the ladder and swing at a pitch here out of the strike zone. Actually ended up in the strike zone. The breaking ball started very high, and then, you know, where it ended up, I mean, home plate umpire Marvin Hudson may have called that a strike. That new high strike implemented this season by Major League Baseball.
So with 2 outs, here's Matt Williams, who drove in the game's only run back in the first inning, a double to left, scoring Luis Gonzalez. Williams then walked in the third inning. Mark Grace does not strike out very often. Only the 26th strikeout of the season in 340 at-bats.
He's got great hand-eye coordination.
First and second, now 2 away, as Williams takes ball 2.
Now here's where, if you're a hitter with 2 outs, you look for the one pitch, the pitch you like to hit the best. If it's the fastball in, that's where you look. Fastball away, you look there, and you lay off everything else. You've got to make Marquis come to you in this situation.
Fastball down the middle, 2-1.
That's a nice job by Williams. He didn't want that 2-0 fastball. It's out on the black. There's not a lot you're going to do with that pitch. And he's still in the driver's seat. 2 balls, 1 strike. Maybe going with the same pitch on the outside part of the plate, the fastball.
Williams gets the bat on it. Fly ball, straightaway center. Andrew Jones makes the catch, so the Diamondbacks ran 2 in the 5th. They've left 7 men on base so far.
In W, it's good to be thick-headed. By Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. By Fram, pay a little more now or pay a lot later. And by the American Plastics Council, plastics make it possible.
On Friday, don't miss It's a Fox NFL preseason special. Javon Curse and the Titans take on Marshall Faulk and the Rams in a primetime rematch of Super Bowl 34 as both teams prepare for the upcoming season. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox with Pat Summerall and John Madden, the Titans and the Rams.
That should be a good one. Football season here already. Hard to believe.
Training camps have been open for a couple of weeks. Preseason started last Friday. A couple of games last night. Mark DeRosa at the plate now as a quarterback at Penn.
Wow.
Now the starting shortstop for the Braves, at least in today's game, sharing the position with Ray Sanchez, recently acquired from Kansas City in the absence of Rafael Furcal. Now 1-1 on the former University of Pennsylvania quarterback.
Ray Sanchez, they got him from the Kansas City Royals. They thought they were just going to rent him for 2 months because their very talented shortstop Rafael Furcal is out for the season. But Sanchez has great hands and has done so well. I mean, there's talk of bringing this guy back next season. And if that's the case, then they would just move Furcal to the other side of the bag, and that would be their double play combination. Sanchez at short, Furcal at second. 1 and 2. There they are. I was talking to Bobby Cox, and I had to ask him a couple of times, and I told you this already, Kenny, but he told me that Sanchez has the best hands he's ever seen.
And he's been around.
And I asked him a couple of more questions. I said, wait a minute, let me get this right. I said, Bobby, you said that Sanchez has the best hands you've ever seen. He says, yes, he does. And then he went on to talk about Ozzie Smith a little bit, talking about Ozzie Smith. Had great hands, but he was a much more acrobatic player. He says Sanchez is a smart player. He knows how to play the hitters. He'll position himself where the hitters hit the ball right to him because he doesn't have that great range like Rafael Furcal or like an Ozzie Smith.
DeRosa goes down on strikes. 4th strikeout for Miguel Batista.
Well, Batista's had a lot of success elevating the fastball today, and no different here. Ball up around the letters at 93, 94 miles per hour. You can't get on top of it. And with 2 strikes, you're always waiting that split second longer to determine whether it's going to be a strike or a ball. And by the time you determine that, that ball's by you.
Bunted foul by Marquis. Getting back to the baseball and football connections. When you look around the major leagues, there are a number of former college quarterbacks playing Major League Baseball. Todd Helton,
yes,
was the last Tennessee quarterback to start a game before Peyton Manning. And then he backed up Manning. Adam Dunn, the terrific rookie outfielder with the Cincinnati Reds, was offered a scholarship to play quarterback at the University of Texas.
You've got some guys going the other way, too. Chris Winkie.
Yep.
He started playing a little baseball, and now
he played in the Blue Jays system.
He's playing football once again. Brian Jordan of this Atlanta Braves team for 3 years was a defensive back for the Atlanta Falcons, an alternate in the All-Pro game, as a matter of fact, in '92.
Bounced up the middle, and Marquis is thrown out by Tony Womack.
Brian Jordan, All-Star game.
Brian Jordan was a teammate, a defensive backfield mate of Deion Sanders, who also is the only man to play in both the World Series and the Super Bowl, Deion Sanders.
Why Brian Jordan gets a little injury here or there, it's very hard to keep him off the field.
Well, he says, I'm a baseball player in a football player's body.
He's a warrior. He is a warrior.
Here's Marcus Giles, 0 for 2, pair of groundouts. My partner on Fox on NFL Sundays, Tim Green, 8 years with the Atlanta Falcons, a teammate of Brian Jordan, Deion Sanders with the Falcons.
I'm sure he has some Jordan Sanders stories for you.
Speaks very highly of both of his former teammates.
They're both quality individuals.
0-1 on Giles, 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th inning. Braves have now gone 17 consecutive innings without a run. Shutout last night. Not score in the last 3 innings in their game on Thursday against the Astros. We talked about the Diamondbacks having problems scoring runs as of late. The Braves are ranked 11th in the National League in runs scored and have not scored a run in 17 innings.
And talking to both teams, they're hoping, as we get a look at Merv Rettenmund there, the hitting coach for the Braves. He, along with Dwayne Murphy on the other side, Diamondbacks hitting coach, they know the guys can hit. They know they can produce. But for some reason, you know, guys get into a funk, you know, and guys just don't get good, consistent at bat. And if you do not do that against good quality pitchers, you're not going to score runs. I mean, look at Batista out here and look at Marquis on the other side. Marquis given up the 1 run. Batista, he hasn't given up anything. But there's really no margin for error. You've almost got to be perfect if you're going to win the game.
How about the job Batista's done this afternoon? 4 2/3. He scattered 4 singles. Hasn't walked anybody. 4 strikeouts. He's only gone to a 3-ball count twice so far.
He's always had a great arm. But that's exactly where it ended. I mean, he had a good arm. He's turned himself into a pitcher, and a good one.
This only the 3rd 3-ball count of the day. Pitching coach Bob Welch watching from the Arizona dugout. The payoff pitch to Giles. Ground ball to the charging shortstop. Womack has some trouble, then recovers. Giles beats the throw.
Well, Giles not known for his speed. Womack comes up on this ball and doesn't field it cleanly. By the time he gets into the throwing hand, Giles is safe. Grace tried to cheat on that play. First base umpire Tim Welke wasn't going to give him the call. And Giles really hustling down the line. Thinking he's out. You see those last 3 steps, turned it up again after he saw Womack bobble the ball.
Womack's 15th error of the year. So the Diamondbacks give the Braves an extra out here in the 5th inning. Dave Martinez takes ball 1. Martinez 1 for 2, an infield single in the 1st, and he struck out in the 3rd inning.
And that's the thing you can't afford to do to the Atlanta Braves. You cannot give them extra outs in any inning.
Braves have lost 3 in a row. It's their 5th 3-game losing streak of the year. They have not lost 4 consecutive games all season. Like the Diamondbacks, the Braves have a better road record than here at home. Only 1 game over 500 here at Turner Field. The 2-0. Martinez holds. 2 balls, 1 strike. 2 outs. Giles the runner on first. Diamondbacks leading 1-0.
This is where the Braves really missed their leadoff hitter, Rafael Furcal. In this situation, he would get himself down to second base. Furcal had 22 steals at the time of his injury. Last year's Rookie of the Year. What a year he had.
Debate as to his actual age. Listed as 21. Broken bat. Extra bases. Giles waved home. Here's the throw to the plate. Safe. And the Braves tie it at 1. On the broken bat double, Martinez moves to third on the throw. He drives in his 18th run of the year. So after the Diamondbacks give the Braves an extra out, Atlanta ties the game on an unearned run.
A nice swing by Martinez. 2-1 pitch on the inside part of the plate, tailing in on him. Strong enough to muscle that ball down the right field line. Sanders gets down to get this ball. He gets it to Junior Spivey, the second baseman. Spivey with a very strong throwing arm. As you see Giles getting waved home by Ned Yost. This ball right on the money and a great slide by Marcus Giles.
The inning should have been over. Should have been a 1-2-3 fifth. But Womack had trouble on the transition. On the ball hit by Giles. He comes back to haunt the Diamondbacks. As the Braves score their first run in 17 innings. It's an unearned run. 1-1 the count on Chipper Jones, who singled and fly to right earlier. Runner on third is Martinez. 2 outs. The 1-1 to Jones. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
Chipper not very patient this at bat. And from time to time, he will lose his patience. When pitchers start to pitch around you with a runner on second and 2 outs, normally Chipper would not swing at that pitch. Give Miguel Batista some credit for the location, but Chipper not very patient.
Two and two. Only third baseman ever to score and drive in 100 runs 5 consecutive seasons. Well on his way to doing it again this year. Full count. Brian Jordan on deck.
And Bob Brinley told me before the game, if Jones comes up in a situation where he can hurt his club, he's not going to get a strike.
Martinez takes his lead off third. Batista set. The 3-2 way outside. First walk issued by Batista. First and third for Brian Jordan. Frustration in the Arizona dugout after Batista retired the first 2 Braves here in the 5th inning. Ground ball to the left side off the bat of Giles. Womack committed his 15th error, allowing Giles to reach. Martinez then doubled into the right field corner, driving in a run. And now Batista walks Chipper Jones. First and third, 2 outs for Brian Jordan.
You know, Kenny, so many times your infielders, they pick you up when you make a bad pitch. From time to time, as a pitcher, you've got to pick up your infielders when they make an error behind you. I mean, you talked about it, Batista should be out of the inning. But at the same time, you got to find a way to get out of this inning without allowing the Braves to score any more runs.
Martinez on third, chatting with third base coach Ned Yost. Chipper Jones over at first base. Brian Jordan at the plate. Flat out to the warning track in center field in the first inning. Single to right in the 4th. Time called by the home plate umpire Marvin Hudson. Jordan swinging at the first pitch. Fouls it off into the Diamondbacks dugout. 0-1.
You know, while we were having that conversation about picking up your teammates when they make an error, when you make a bad pitch, sometimes they're picking you up. Not only was Bob Welch talking to Batista, trying to settle him down, as we see Bobby Witt down in the Diamondbacks bullpen. Bob Brenly had also instructed him and his defense exactly what he wanted them to do should Chipper Jones try to take off for second base with 2 outs, man on third.
1-1 to Jordan. Bautista has thrown 26 pitches this inning. We saw Bobby Witt in the Arizona bullpen.
Bobby Witt has not appeared in a Diamondback game since early April. He was their 5th starter when the season started. Went down with an injury and just came off the disabled list before the Diamondbacks took off for the road trip to Florida and then here to Atlanta.
Out to third. Williams gets the force at second, but the Braves tie at a run. 1 hit, a walk, and an error. 5 innings in the books. We are tied at 1.
70 and a third consecutive innings without giving up a walk.
An incredible streak, 70 and 1/3 innings without walking a batter. 9 and 1 during that stretch. He has struck out 51. Has faced 274 batters without walking anybody.
You know, that's just an amazing statistic. Really amazing. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, look who he passed here. I mean, this is incredible to do what Greg Maddux has been able to do.
Christy Mathewson, Randy Jones, National League record holders previously, 68 consecutive innings. Ironically, the man who holds the American League and Major League record, 84 1/3, is now the Richmond Braves pitching coach down in AAA, Bill Fisher.
Okay.
Works with Greg Maddux during spring training every year. So Greg, 14 innings away from Bill Fisher's Major League mark. Now 3-1 on Steve Finley, leading off for the Diamondbacks here in the 6th against Jason Marquis. Finley robbed on a diving catch by Brian Jordan his last time up. Reggie Sanders waiting on deck. Marquis works his way back into the count, now 3-2.
You know, what's most impressive about that record by Maddux is the fact that every now and then you'll get in situations where you're called upon to pitch around the 3, 4, and 5 guys in any particular order, you know, to preserve a win for your club. You don't want those players to beat you, but yet he has not had to pitch around them, and they haven't done a lot of damage against him.
There's a walk.
Yeah.
It's not Maddux, it's Marquis. It's his 4th of the game. Greg Maddux, one of the all-time greats. 15 and 6 this year. Since 1992, most wins in the majors, 180. Best earned run average, 2.42.
Consistency. I mean, you look it up in the dictionary and you'll see Greg Maddux's name next to it. And the one thing about him, I mean, and people get excited when Johnson's on the mound or when Schilling's on the mound or when Pedro Martinez is on the mound, but yet Greg Maddux has been one of the best the last 10 years.
Diamondbacks, one of the few teams Maddux has a losing record against. He's 1-3 in 5 career starts against Arizona. Right down the middle for a called strike. 0-1 on Sanders.
I saw a game earlier this year with the Diamondbacks and the Braves, and Greg Maddux was on the mound at Bank One Ballpark when the Braves were in town, and I thought Bob Brenly did some of his best managing of his very young career. Diamondbacks were trailing 3-0 with Maddux on the mound. 3rd inning, he put on back-to-back hit runs. They were successful, and they went on to beat Greg Maddux. So many times when you go up against a guy like Greg and you're down 3-0, you're not going to put in anything.
Nothing and 2 on Sanders. Nobody out. Finley the runner on first. And a 1-1 game. Jason Marquis has not received much run support this season. In his previous 8 starts, the Braves have scored only 2.6 runs for him. Only 1 so far today. Sanders awaiting the 0-2. Sends this one into right field. Jordan is under it. 1 out. I asked Luis Gonzalez yesterday what goes through his mind when he faces Greg Maddux.
Picasso. I mean, he is the masterful guy. He paints in and out. If you ask me today how I have 7 or 8 career home runs off that guy, I would tell you I have no idea. Because when you look at him, he has the ability to make you look so silly at the plate, and at the same time, he doesn't walk anybody. So you have to stay aggressive, and at the same time, you have to realize that he's nibbling at times around the plate, but he knows exactly where he's going to throw the ball.
No matter what hitter you talk to around the National League, they will tell you that Greg Maddux is always 1 pitch ahead of him. If you're looking inside, he's going to throw it outside, and vice versa. I mean, Greg Maddux is just a smart pitcher. 4-time Cy Young Award winner.
The perfect answer from Luis Gonzalez. Picasso. That's all he needed to say.
The pitch out there from Bobby Cox, anticipating the Diamondbacks would be doing something. Finley on first has 9 steals. David DeLucci in the on-deck circle for the Diamondbacks. Damian should get a good pitch to hit here. And you may even see Finley take off and steal. Attempt to steal, that is.
Finley with 9 steals this year. Finley goes as Miller lifts one foul down the right field line. 1-2.
Appeared to be the hit and run there. Ball elevated in the strike zone. Miller, the way that he has been going as of late, hadn't been swinging at those pitches. As you get a look at Chris Spire, third base coach for the Diamondbacks, going through a series of signs.
One and 2 on Miller. Pinch hitter DeLucci waits on deck. Line drive, base hit into right field. Finley moves to second. So the Diamondbacks have 2 on, only 1 out. And David DeLucci, who has already set a Diamondbacks club record this year with 14 pinch hits, including 5 pinch hit home runs, steps up to the plate.
Well, DeLucci's done a nice job for the Diamondbacks off their bench, along with Rubio Durazo. They've been very, very consistent. Look at those pinch hit numbers. 355 home runs, 15 runs batted in.
Diamondbacks have already tied the all-time Major League record with 12 pinch hit home runs in the season. 1 more and they would hold the record all by themselves. DeLucci 10 home runs in all. He's driven in 36 runs, batting .285.
Marquis has started to fall behind the majority of the Diamondback hitters in this inning. They've got a couple of guys on base.
Finley, the runner on second. Miller takes his lead off first. The 2-0. Now 2-1. The high strike called by the home plate umpire Marvin Hudson.
Andrew Jones in center field has a very good throwing arm. Martinez in left, playing fairly deep. Stephen Finley, outstanding base runner. He would score anything hit on the corners, and he's really going to have to go anything hit right back up the middle.
Ground ball to the right side. Caminiti takes it to the bag himself for the second out. Both runners advance. Now second and third with 2 away. Tony Womack 0 for 3. Flies to center twice and popped out to the shortstop. Diamondbacks have already stranded 7 base runners over the first 5 innings. Womack falls behind 0-1 with runners on second and third and 2 outs. Diamondbacks only 1 for 7 today with runners in scoring position.
It's been a troublesome area for the Diamondbacks the entire season.
Now 1-1. Mike Remlinger up in the Atlanta Braves bullpen. Bob Remley will go to the bullpen as he pinch hit for Miguel Batista, who did not allow an earned run in 5 innings. Marquis missing away, now 2-1. Diamondbacks 1 run, 6 hits, 1 error. Braves 1 run, 5 hits, no errors. Sliced foul to the left side. 2-2 now on Womack. Marquis over the 100 pitch mark. He's thrown 107 pitches over the first 5 2/3. Now Womack calls time. Second and third, 2 outs in a 1-1 game. Diamondbacks won last night 7-0. Way outside, now 3-2. Junior Spivey in the on-deck circle. Ball to the right side, backhanded by Caminiti. Marquis covering, safe. Marquis was off the bag, the throw home, safe at home is Finley. Miller scoring as well, and the Diamondbacks take a 3-1 lead. Tim Welke, the crew chief, 18-year veteran, says Marquis' foot was off the bag as he took the toss from Caminiti, allowing Womack to reach 2 runs scored on the play.
And Bobby Cox not happy. Talked about Caminiti just getting used to the first base. He gets the ball in his glove, but he double clutches as he gets it out, which caused Marquis to reach for the bag 2 times. When you see a guy reach for a bag the second time, it appears he missed it the first time. Womack really getting down the line, and it appeared that Tim Welke made the correct call.
Bob Remley's reaction to the Diamondbacks dugout. Bobby Cox argues to no avail. An error charged to Marquis. No RBIs on the play. 2-run score on the ground ball to the right side.
May see a pitch out here on the first or second pitch. Womack going to try to get himself down in the scoring position. The Braves know that. They've pitched out a lot already this year. Finley's going to score easy, but Damian Miller very heads up as Marquis starts to argue with the first base umpire. Damian Miller comes in safe with the slide.
And now a balk charged to Marquis, allowing Womack to move to second.
Well, Marquis is clearly shook up. Just lack of concentration there, Kenny, after the play at first. And all he could do is put his head down in frustration.
Spivey takes a called strike, 0-1. Now 1-1.
You know, one of the things you and I talked about at the beginning of the game of just how different it is for Caminiti going from the third base position over to the first base position. And, you know, just something as simple as getting that ball out of the glove and then getting into the pitcher on the run. That's a difficult play if you've never done it before.
And that's something you have emphasized throughout this afternoon's game. Caminiti getting used to a new position.
Well, the Braves have made a lot of errors the last couple of games. That's their 7th error in the last 3 games. 3 last night against the Diamondbacks. The previous night, 3 against the Houston Astros.
Chipper Jones. High throw, but the tag applied by Caminiti. The sarcastic cheers from the crowd here at Turner Field. Diamondbacks score 2 runs on 1 hit, a walk, and an error. And they've taken a 3-1 lead in the middle of the 6th inning. Ron Allen back in Atlanta. Diamondbacks take a 3-1 lead, scoring 2 runs on a ground ball to the right side to the first baseman Ken Caminiti. And with the pitcher Marquis covering, appeared to miss the bag on his first attempt. Let's take another look, Ron.
Well, Marquis gets over there, and you're going to take a look at Caminiti. He doesn't get the ball out of the glove cleaned over the throwing hand. And anytime you see a guy reach back and forth to the bag, foot 1 time, 2 times, that's a close play.
So do you think if Marquis made the first attempt, and even if in his mind he thought he missed the bag, if he did not reach back a second time, do you think
he gets the call?
Think he get the call?
I think he gets the call.
2 runs scored on the play. And now 37-year-old right-hander Bobby Witt, in his first appearance since returning from the disabled list, who was activated on Sunday. He started a game for the Diamondbacks back on April 7th against St. Louis. Went 4 2/3, left due to an elbow injury. Later suffered a right shoulder strain and made 5 starts on a rehab assignment with Tucson. So Bobby Witt in to pitch the 6th, facing Ken Caminiti. So after he was pinch hit for by David DeLucci, Miguel Batista is currently the pitcher of record for the Diamondbacks after his teammates picked him up by scoring 2 runs after the Braves scored their run in the 5th on a Womack error. Caminiti strikes out for the 2nd time. Let's listen to Diamondbacks manager Bob Brenly, who was wearing the microphone for us today. We take you back to that 2-run play moments ago.
Beat it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa. Makeup right there.
Makeup referring to the error the Braves scored, or the run the Braves scored on the Womack error. But when Bob was in the broadcast booth with Fox, did he ever react to a play by screaming, yeah, 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 yeah?
No, only down there in that dugout when you're the manager and you're having a tough time getting runs and getting your team to score some runs for you.
That's some excellent analysis from Bob. Proves the point.
Yes, it does.
The 0-2 to Andrew Jones. Went quickly off the mound. Nice play. Fires to Grace, 2 away. There's Javi Lopez. Javi 1 for 2, singled back in the second inning. Diamondbacks looking to win their second straight before facing Greg Maddux tomorrow. Have a 3-1 lead as Lopez takes a called strike. We continue to check the scoreboard. Phillies have added a run, now 7-3 over the Dodgers. That is good news for the Diamondbacks. That is not. Giants 8 and the Cubs 1. Towering pop-up to the right side. Grace calls off Spivey. 1-2-3, 6th inning for Bobby Witt. You're watching Fox Sports, the exclusive home of postseason baseball, including the 2001 World Series. Well, Ron, I know you came from Arizona, but one of these women came all the way from Germany.
Where's that arrow pointing to? It said she came all the way from Germany, and there's an arrow on that sign and was pointing down to her left.
I guess it's one of those two. Now, will that cell phone reach Germany?
If it does, it's going to cost you a pretty penny.
Here's Mike Remlinger, the new Braves pitcher. Let's see if she dials 7 digits for a local number or our international access code.
It's not your number, is it?
I don't think so. My phone's off. You know, I saw Luis Gonzalez on his cell phone for quite some time, about 3 hours before last night's game. I guess whenever he calls home, he has to speak with not only his wife, but all 3 of his triplets.
Yes, that would come with that territory. Must be getting a busy sign, a busy signal, or something.
There she goes. Luis was telling us yesterday many of the triple car seat he's donated to some area families.
He goes through a ritual every time he goes into the batter's box. He'll step in, he'll dig a little hole and get his footing. He'll tap home plate 3 times for the triplet. Always carries 3 pieces of bubble gum in his back pocket. Says you never know when you're going to run into him, and you've got to be prepared at all times.
Well, you just bite one of them in half if you only have 2.
I'm sure on the road he doesn't have to have the 3 pieces of bubble gum in his pocket, though. But at home, he'll keep them in his back pocket.
So for those of you watching in Arizona who are expecting triplets, if you need a stroller, car seat, some extra pacifiers, you know where to find them.
I don't know about the pacifiers.
True. Remlinger strikes out Gonzalez, leading off here in the 7th.
Outstanding pitch here by Remlinger. A breaking ball that starts right down the middle. Bottom just falls out of it. And very seldom will you see Gonzalez pulled it out in front, but yeah, that's one where you just tip your hat and stroll on back to the dugout.
It's Mark Grace, 0 for 2 with a walk. The line on Jason Marquis, the Braves starter. He went 6 innings, allowed 6 hits, 3 runs, only 1 earned. 4 walks, 1 intentional, 2 strikeouts. Of course, the 2 unearned runs came on that error charge to Marquis when he took the flip from Caminiti and may have missed first base. And Womack beat him to the bat, allowing 2 runs to score. Crowd of 48,367, the 8th sellout of the season here at Turner Field. Base held up, 2-2. Diamondback starter Miguel Batista allowed an unearned run in 5 innings. Walked only 1, struck out 4. Into the gap in right center. A 1-out single for Grace. His 5th hit in his last 14 at-bats. Here's Matt Williams, who doubled in the Diamondbacks' first run back in the 1st inning. Later walked and fly to center. Williams takes a called strike from Remlinger. Mike Remlinger making his 57th appearance of the season. Earned run average under 3. The Braves bullpen has been outstanding, Rod, since the trade of John Rocker in late June to the Indians for Steve Karsay and Steve Reed. Since that time, since they unloaded Rocker, the Braves have the 2nd best ERA among relief pitchers in the National League.
You know, they gave up Rocker, who was their closer. They don't have a closer down there. I mean, it's basically closer by committee with Smoltz, and Karsay will close some games out. Even Remlinger on the mound right now will close some games out. But, you know, they've got some guys that can get them through the 6th and 7th and 8th innings and shut down the opposition when they're rallying.
In foul territory, a sliding attempt by Brian Jordan, colliding with second baseman Marcus Giles.
We talked about Brian Jordan just a couple of innings ago. He leaves it all out on the field every single day. Walking very slow back out to his position. Appeared to hurt his hamstring there. Great concentration here. This is going to be a tough play. You got 2 guys verging on the ball at the same time, both sliding. That would have been a spectacular catch.
He may have held on to it had Giles not slid into him. He made a tremendous diving catch earlier to rob Steve Finley. 1-2 on Matt Williams. Grace the runner on first with 1 out. Another opportunity for Jordan. Another sliding catch. This time robbing Matt Williams, although it would have fallen in foul territory. So Williams would not have been retired, but a terrific catch by Brian Jordan in right.
Hey, he gets a great jump on this ball down the line. I think you said it best, Kenny. You know, he's a football player playing baseball. Great concentration, sliding, getting over to this ball, and then alertly getting the ball back into second base. And he is clearly playing less than 100%. Clearly playing less than 100%, but as I said earlier, so many of the guys on the field, when you get into August, are playing with a little nagging injury. I don't think there's a player in the field that feels 100% right now.
How do you feel up here in the booth? You feel 100%?
I feel 100% sitting here next to you.
You look 100%.
Thank you. Big hole there in the knee area. Good thing he had that pad on, or he'd had a nice little strawberry.
Finley base hit center field. Steve Finley reaches base for the 3rd time in today's game. Diamondbacks have runners on first and second with 2 outs as Reggie Sanders steps in. Sanders 0 for 3. Came up in the 1st inning with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Bounced back to the pitcher Marquis. He has also flied out twice. So the former Brave with an opportunity here with 2 on. 2 outs and a 3-1 Arizona Diamondbacks lead. Diamondbacks with a chance to pull into first place in the National League West if they win and the Dodgers lose. The Dodgers currently trail the Phillies 7-3 in the 8th. In Philadelphia, former Diamondback Travis Lee hit a first-inning grand slam for the Phillies. And if that scenario holds up, the Phillies would pull into a first-place tie with the Braves.
Don't you think for one moment there's not a lot of scoreboard watching going on by both of these teams? You go down and ask them, do you look up at the scoreboard? No, we just worry about our game, but don't believe that. They're always aware of what the other teams are doing.
It's hard to miss that big out-of-town scoreboard up in left field. Remlinger set for the 1-1. Now 1-2.
A big scoreboard you were talking about. Even says big up there.
Yep. Remlinger missing high and away. Now 2-2 on Reggie Sanders. Brace the runner on second. Finley on at first. 2 outs. Top of the 7th inning from Turner Field. Glad you've joined us this afternoon on Fox.
Troy Brohan heating up in the Diamondback bullpen.
Popped up. A towering pop-up. The catcher, Lopez, in foul territory. So Sanders scrams 2. 7th inning stretch time in Atlanta.
Big stuff is going on here at 7-Eleven. It's the new Big Sub Cup.
7th inning stretch in Atlanta. Our game summary is brought to you by Hershey. 3-1 Diamondbacks. Starter Miguel Batista allowed only an earned run in 5 innings. Braves starter Jason Marquis, 1 earned run in 6 innings. But he also committed the 2-run error. And the Braves have scored only 1 run the last 18 innings. Here's the backhanded play by Caminiti. Hesitated to get the ball out of his glove. And then did Marquis touch the bag the first time? That is the question. 2 runs scored on the play. And that is the difference as Bobby Cox and the Braves trail 3-1. Mark DeRosa leading off. 0 for 2 in today's game. Keith Lockhart in the on-deck circle. He will pinch hit for Mike Remlinger. Bobby Witt in his 2nd inning. In relief of Miguel Batista. Retire the Braves in order in the 6th. 37-year-old right-hander. Now 3-0.
Bobby Witt and today's starter Miguel Batista, they battled with one another in spring training for that 5th starter spot in the Diamondbacks rotation. Witt eventually won that spot before going on the disabled list his very first start of the season.
Witt making his return this afternoon, his 2nd appearance in a Diamondback uniform. Catches the inside corner. 3-2. Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling sitting together in the Diamondbacks dugout. They have the last 5 wins between the 2 of them for the Diamondbacks. DeRosa, deep center, Finley. Edge of the warning track, makes the catch as we send you to Hollywood for a Speed Pass game break brought to you by ExxonMobil. What's going on, Jeannie?
Well, Kenny, how about those Dodgers? It's been this kind of day at the vet. Bottom 7, Scott Rowland with a solo shot gives Philly a 7-3 lead. That's where it stands, 7-3 Philadelphia, top 9. Giants at Wrigley, we gave Barry Bonds attention for his 50th home run, so how about Sammy Sosa's 41st? Finally got the Cubbies on the board. Sammy's had 6 home runs in his last 7 games. Giants lead 9-3, bottom 8, Kenny.
All right, thanks very much, Jeannie. Sammy with 3 on Thursday. Bob Brenly out to the bullpen. Calls to the left-hander Troy Brohan. As Keith Lockhart was announced. Lockhart with 14 pinch hits this year. Leading the National League with a batting average of .378 as a pinch hitter. So Bob Brenly going to the bullpen.
Beyond this tropical setting lies a deep, dark secret.
Several shots were fired.
Help solve this millionaire's murder. America's Most Wanted, all new, 9/8 Central tonight on Fox.
Let's listen in as Diamondbacks manager Bob Brenly made the pitching change moments ago.
Welcome back, Bobby Witt. Hell of a job, man. Nice going. Nice going. Way to pick us up. Woo!
So Bobby Witt in his return. First major league appearance since April. Retired all 4 batters he faced. And we would like to thank our former colleague Bob Brenly for wearing the microphone for us this afternoon here in Atlanta. Now Keith Lockhart was announced as the pinch hitter. But after Bob Brenly brought in the left-hander Troy Brohan, Ray Sanchez will now bat for Lockhart. Sanchez nicked up, did not start for the 2nd straight day. He's batting .269 as a Brave. This is his first pinch hitting appearance. And the numbers on Brohan.
Brohan's been a nice addition to the Diamondbacks bullpen coming up earlier this year from AAA. 3.51 earned run average, a 2-3 record. Only given up 39 hits.
Ground ball to the shortstop, Womack. So the pinch hitter Sanchez is retired. 2 away here in the Braves 7th.
For the most part, Troy Brohan has been the guy coming out of the Diamondback bullpen to face very tough left-handed hitter. Guys in the National League West. Todd Helton, Barry Bonds, Shawn Green, Ryan Klesko. He's come in a lot of very, very difficult situations for the Diamondbacks this year and done a nice job for him.
Marcus Giles 0 for 3. Reached on the Womack error back in the 5th inning and then scored on the Martinez double, scoring the Braves' only run of the game and their first in 17 innings. 0-2. Troy Brohan, the 3rd Diamondbacks pitcher. Right back to the box. The flex off Brohan. And the throw from Spivey beats Giles. So the Braves retired in order in the 7th. We head to the 8th here in Atlanta. The Diamondbacks leading the Braves 3-1.
Remember high school zoology?
Baseball presented by Radio Shack. It's these same Braves. They will take on Barry Bonds and the San Francisco Giants. It all begins with This Week in Baseball next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Fox Saturday Baseball, Braves and the Giants, 1 week from today on Fox. Steve Reed, who came over from Cleveland in the John Rocker deal, is the 3rd Braves pitcher of the game.
It's been a nice addition for this Braves staff out of the bullpen, along with Steve Karsay, who also came over. These guys just eat up innings for the Braves. And not only do they eat up innings, they do a very nice job out of the bullpen.
Damian Miller with 2 hits today, leading off for the Diamondbacks here in the 8th. Craig Counsell is on deck. He will pinch hit for Troy Brohan, who retired both batters he faced. Fouled off to the right side, 1-2 on Miller. There's Counsell waiting. Diamondbacks 3 runs, 8 hits, 1 error. Braves 1 run, 5 hits, 1 error. Miguel Batista, the Arizona starter, allowed 1 run in 5 innings. It was unearned. Miller into shallow left. Martinez makes the catch for the first out, and now Craig Counsell will pinch hit for Troy Brohan. Counsell batting .268 overall, 4 for 7 as a pinch hitter this year.
Talking to Bob Brenly before the game, and he said one of the toughest things he's had to do as a very young manager came just the other day when Womack came off the disabled list, and he had to take Counsell out of the starting lineup and put him back on the bench. He said aside from Johnson and Schilling and the obvious Luis Gonzalez, Counsell's been their most consistent performer the entire season.
We talked earlier about Counsell's role in that 1997 Florida Marlins ball club. He scored the World Series winning run in Game 7 against the Cleveland Indians.
He's played all 4 infield positions for the Diamondbacks. Matt Williams has spent a considerable amount of time on the disabled list.
DeRosa, 2 away.
Tony Womack was struggling in the leadoff spot for the Diamondbacks. Craig Counsell was inserted into that spot. He gave the team a lift. He's played some second base when Jay Bell had struggled. Been very, very consistent, but he's a guy that knows his role, Kenny. Even though he's been given a lot of playing time this year, he knows when the season started he was a role player, and he knows at the end of the season more than likely that's where he's going to be, unless someone has an injury.
Right, here's Tony Womack. His last at bat, the key at bat in the game. Got a ground ball to the first baseman Caminiti. He backhanded it. Flip to the pitcher Marquis covering, who apparently did not get the foot down on first base initially. Womack then crossed first base as Marquis reached back a second time. And while all that was going on, 2 runs scored. And that is the difference. Diamondbacks leading 3-1.
Well, when Womack is hitting the ball on the ground, he puts a lot of pressure on the defense. Anything hit 2 feet to your left or to your right as a defender, you know you've really got to hurry to get him out.
Another ground ball to the right side. This one is followed up by Giles. An infield hit for Womack.
His first 3 times up in the game, 2 fly balls to center field. He popped up to the shortstop. Last 2 times up, both ground balls to the right side. He's gotten on base.
Well, we know about Womack's speed. He has led the National League in stolen bases 3 times in the last 4 years. Reaches for the 2nd time today.
Has 22 steals this year. With 2 outs, more than likely first pitch, second pitch. He's going to try to get down to second. But you've got to be careful. If you're Womack, maybe after you take 1 or 2 steps, you want to look in to see if Lopez, the catcher, is standing up for the pitch out. If you read it, you can get back to first base safely.
Lopez has a terrific arm. He's thrown out 32% of potential base stealers this year. Womack's been caught only 4 times to go along with those 22 steals.
A lot of times you don't steal off Javi Lopez. You steal off the pitcher. A lot of the Braves pitchers don't get the ball to home plate that quickly. But when they do, Lopez has a strong enough arm to throw them out.
Junior Spivey 1 for 4. An excuse me check swing. Easy play for Caminiti. And the side is retired. Womack stranded. Middle of the 8th inning from Atlanta. 3-1 Diamondbacks. Back in Atlanta, Kenny Albert, Ron Allen, bottom of the 8th inning. Diamondbacks leading the Braves 3-1. 24-year-old right-hander Brett Prinz has come on to pitch the 8th for Arizona.
Well, Prinz will challenge you. 4-0 record, very low earned run average. Fastball gets up to 94 miles per hour. This guy not afraid to throw the fastball over the heart of the plate.
And so far over the last 2 innings, the bullpen has been terrific for Bob Brenly. Combination of Bobby Witt and Troy Brohan. They've retired all 6 batters they faced. The last Braves base hit was Dave Martinez, who came through in the 5th with a run-scoring double. Martinez leading off here in the 8th for Atlanta. Ball strike on the inside corner, 1-2. For the season, Diamondbacks 3rd in ERA out of the bullpen, trailing only Milwaukee and Florida.
We've got Young Kim down there. We've already seen Bobby Witt in tonight's game. Prince, Troy Brohan, Greg Swindell, the veteran down there. And speaking of Kim, he is the closer for the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks hold on to this 3-1 lead going into the bottom half of the 9th inning. He'll be on the mound for them. Can't leave out Mike Morgan, the ageless wonder down in the Diamondback pen.
Mike Morgan, who has worn more uniforms than any other player in the history of professional sports. He's played for 12 different teams. A 1-2 from Prince. A chopper up the middle. Oh, the shortstop, Womack, makes the play from behind second base to throw out Martinez.
That's just speed. Anytime you see a shortstop go over where the second baseman normally would be and make a play, you're talking about a guy with tremendous athleticism. Womack does have that, and just throw off balance like that. Not a lot of guys that can make that play. Take a look at where he starts right here, and take a look where he finishes after the play. He starts in one position, 4 to 5 to 6 steps on the second base side of the bag.
Chipper Jones 1 for 2 with a walk. Womack has certainly been involved in the late innings today, both offensively and in the field. 3-1 Diamondbacks, 1 out, bottom of the 8th inning. 1-2. Action in the Braves bullpen. Steve Parsay up and throwing.
Came over from the Indians along with Steve Reed, who pitched the last half inning.
Now 2-2.
Diamondbacks infield, everyone playing Chipper Jones to pull. At the same time, Brett Prince pitching him away. Womack almost directly behind the second base bag.
Low and inside, so the count is full. Ryan Jordan waiting on deck. The last 8 Braves have been retired by 4 different Diamondback pitchers. This should be 9 in a row. Womack, 2 away. Well, Rod, tonight on Fox, brought along with the boys in blue on a full hour of Cops. Then helped John Walsh solve the mystery of the murdered millionaire on an all-new America's Most Wanted. It all starts tonight at 8, 7 Central, right here on Fox. And I know you will be staying over in Atlanta tonight to work the game tomorrow, so I'm sure you'll have the TV set in the hotel room tuned to Fox.
Absolutely. I might have to tune in for that. You're flying out after the game.
Flying home tonight. Ryan Jordan 1 for 3. Nine consecutive Braves have been retired. Miguel Batista, the pitcher of record, looking for his 7th win of the year. Jason Marquis, the pitcher of record for Atlanta.
Braves offense has been very quiet this afternoon, but that's what good pitching will do to you.
Jordan goes down on strikes. The 3rd consecutive 1-2-3 inning for Diamondbacks pitchers. We head to the 9th. Descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. 3-1 Diamondbacks as we head to the 9th. The Phillies have beaten the Dodgers 7-3. The Giants over the Cubs, it's now a final 9-4. So should the Diamondbacks hold on, they would be all alone in first place in the NL West, and the Braves would drop down into a tie with the Phillies in the NL East.
Some races going right down to the wire in the National League. Should be some good baseball the next 6 weeks of the season.
Luis Gonzalez takes a called strike. 2 hits today, 2 for 4. Doubled in the first, singled in the 5th. As we check out the scores, Barry Bonds, home run number 50 for the Giants. Former Diamondback Travis Lee, a grand slam for the Phillies, helping out his former club. Minnesota Twins struggling. They lose again. Gonzalez, Grace, Williams here in the 9th against Steve Karsing. Martinez on the run. He makes the catch to Rob Gonzalez. If Luis Gonzalez falls, let's say 1 or 2 bases shy of Babe Ruth's record, remember that catch.
Yeah, that could be it. A terrific jump in the outfield by Martinez. He has to go a long way to get to this ball. And if not for the slice off the left-handed bat of Gonzalez, slicing the ball back toward Martinez, he doesn't get to this ball. Terrific effort by Martinez.
So 1 away for Mark Grace, who singled his last time up. Steve Karsay, the 4th Braves pitcher of the afternoon. Came over with Steve Reed in that trade from the Cleveland Indians in exchange for John Rocker. Chipper Jones on 1 hop. 2 out. Looking ahead to the Braves in the 9th. 2 up. Ken Caminiti, Andrew Jones, and Javi Lopez. You know, we've talked about the pennant races and what some of the teams are doing around the majors. We haven't talked much about the Mariners with that ridiculous record of 83-33. Rod, you're a member of the 1984 Tigers, who started 35-5.
Right. You know, and I've had a chance to see that Mariner team this year. It's the best team I've seen. Well balanced. Got great pitching, great leadoff hitter. Got some power in the middle of the order. They've got 25 guys on that team with one common goal, and that's to get to the World Series. And I don't think their manager, Lou Piniella, gets nearly the credit that he deserves. He is one of the best in the game.
Well, they've lost Randy Johnson, Ken Griffey Jr., and Alex Rodriguez 3 consecutive years, and they are just running away with the division. There's Randy. Started the All-Star game in Seattle after Curt Schilling passed the baton to his Diamondbacks teammate. The 0-2. Now 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know, with the money they were able to save, though, by, you know, trading Ken Griffey Jr., not having to spend that money on him. Alex Rodriguez left as a free agent. They traded Randy Johnson to Houston. The players that they have brought in, they have been able to replace those guys, and they are getting it done.
Matt Williams called out on strikes. A 1-2, 3-9 for Karsay. Kim getting set to come in for the bottom half. Young Hyun Kim out to pitch the 9th for the Diamondbacks with a 2-run lead. Arizona won 7-0 last night. They lead 3-1 right here. Ken Caminiti 0 for 3. He struck out twice and grounded out to second. Caminiti, Andrew Jones, and Javi Lopez as Kim looks to wrap it up for Miguel Batista. 1-1.
Well, Kim's the closer for the Diamondbacks. Some remarkable numbers. He's been in 54 games, 95 strikeouts.
1-2. Rod, you've been there all year. You've watched the Diamondbacks go 56-0 when leading after 8 innings.
Yeah, that's something they've been able to do. They've been able to put the other team away when they are leading in a game, which is very, very important.
Got him. Caminiti strikes out for the 3rd time. 11 consecutive Braves have been retired. Our Lotriman, great feat of the game. 6th inning, 2 on, 2 out. Tony Womack, ground ball to the right side. Backhanded by Caminiti. Marquis covering. Did he touch the bag on his first attempt? Apparently not. Womack safe at first. 2 runs score. That's the difference. Arizona leading 3-1. We take another look. And you know, another facet to that play. First run, Phillies scored easily. The second run, Damian Miller just beat the throw. Marquis hesitated for about 2 to 3 seconds as Tim Welke made the safe call, similar to that Chuck Knobloch play in the playoffs back in '97 at first base against the Cleveland Indians when a couple of runs scored.
Well, he couldn't believe that Tim Welke called Tony Womack safe. And by the time his teammates told him to take a look at home, it was too late. Miller sliding in safely.
Yeah, if he threw home immediately, he would have gotten Miller. But the Braves have not scored since then. Would have been 2-1 instead of 3-1. 2-2 count on Andruw Jones, who's 0 for 3 today. Got him. 2nd consecutive strikeout for Kim. And the combination of Batista, Witt, Rohan, Prince, and Kim, the 5 Diamondbacks pitchers today, have now retired the last 12 Braves.
That's just a wicked slider right there by Kim. The ball starts right down the middle. You go at it, and the ball disappears on you. I mean, for 22 years old, Kim emerging into one of the premier relief pitchers in the National League. Hasn't closed that many games, so I can't call him a closer yet, but he gets it done night in, night out for the Diamondbacks team.
Braves down to their final out. The bottom 5 spots in the Braves order today, 1 for 17. Avi Lopez with the only hit. A single his first time up. Popped up to the right side. This should do it. Mark Grace is under it. A 1-2-3 ninth. Back on July 27th, Arizona fell out of first place. On the same day, the Braves took sole possession of first. Both have just changed. The Diamondbacks are in first, and the Phillies have tied the Braves thanks to their victory over the Dodgers. Miguel Batista, the winner. He is now 7-7. Jason Marquis, the loser. Save number 10 for Kim. Braves and Phillies now tied atop the East. Diamondbacks a half-game lead over the Dodgers and Giants in the West. First 4-game losing streak of the year for the Braves. Diamondbacks win back-to-back games for the first time in over 2 weeks. Next week on the Fox Saturday Game of the Week, brought to you by Radio Shack, it's the Braves and the Giants starting at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. For more information on today's game and the latest information on Major League Baseball, go to foxsports.com. Beautiful afternoon in Atlanta. Braves continue to struggle at the plate. They've scored only 1 run in their last 21 innings. For Rod Allen and our entire crew, Kenny Albert saying so long from Atlanta. You've been watching Fox Sports, the exclusive home of postseason baseball, including the 2001 World Series.